hit the record button. Welcome to Lunar Planning Cancer season. So just so we kind of know here, one of the things that I want to talk about right off the top is every new moon has a theme. And it's based on the zodiac sign that it is in. So our sun and our moon are both in Cancer today. That's what creates our new moon. The signs are in the same, the sun and the moon are in the same zodiac sign. So our sun and moon being in Cancer creates this Cancer theme. Now, our sun just moved into Cancer the end of last week. Now we have our moon in Cancer, and now this begins our Cancer season. So what we want to do is we want to look at what are the themes of Cancer, because this season, this next few weeks, these next 29 and a half days of the lunar cycle are going to be around the themes of Cancer. So for those of you who have either Cancer in your chart or kind of know a little about Cancer, you're kind of like, oh, okay, I kind of have some idea. We're going to talk about that in just a second. Like, what are the themes of Cancer? The beautiful thing about the lunar seasons, right, the lunar cycle seasons, which is our zodiac signs, is that it gives us an opportunity to look at our life from that lens, to say, okay, from this lens, from this perspective, what is it that I need to take a look at for my life? Now, I'm somebody who is super big into personal development. I'm always reading books and taking webinars and going to seminars and investing a lot of money into my own personal development. Astrology is actually one of the best personal development tools, because what it does is it allows us to look at that area, to dive into it, because we all have all of the zodiac signs. We all have a little bit of them. And so when we're able to kind of zone into that for just a few weeks, it allows us to develop ourselves in that area. So this week, this cycle, hello, Ms. Monique, I did want to say hi. I saw you popped in. I did want to talk really quick about what the season of Cancer is. And you guys feel free to throw on your cameras, like if you can. Like it makes me feel like we're all together in a room, although we're not, but it's okay. Either way it's good. So let's talk about Cancer. So Cancer is our nurturing. This is the sign of home. This is the sign of family. This is feminine energy. So we talk about, masculine and feminine. Feminine energy. This is Cancer. Cancer is also ruled by the moon. So it's at home. This is like, the moon loves being here, because it's like, it's its happy place right here. It's like, oh, we're nice and home. We're warm and cozy, right? So this is where we look at taking care of ourselves, taking care of other people. We look at our own inner protection, our safety. We look at emotions. Cancer is a big, big, big emotional sign. So very sensitive, right? And so if we think about the moon and how we talked about the phases, right? And how it goes through each phase every 2 to 3 days, right? It's going like through this phase. It's kind of quick. Our emotions are the same way. They're quick. They're fluctuating, right? With Cancer, when we're talking about family, we're talking about not only our roots, not only like our heritage, our ancestors, but we're also talking about the family that we have within our homes, the family that we've created, right? Whether that's by marriage, whether that's, biological, like our kids, right? This is who we see as family, right? So there's going to be, over these next 29 and a half days, we're gonna feel this energy. Some of you who are super intuitive or who are empaths, you're probably already feeling this energy, right? Of like, oh, just wanting to feel nurtured and taken care of, or something around home or your family. And for some of you, this is going to be your theme, right? So when we look at on a personal level of how this is going to affect you, because we're talking about Cancer as a whole right now. This is all of us, right? Everybody here in this call, everybody in our homes, everybody in our work environments, everybody outside, right? Everybody's feeling this energy, whether they know it or not. Everybody is feeling this energy. And so because, you know, we're feeling it, we've got to take that into consideration, right? We have to think, okay, so I'm not the only one going to feel this energy. Everybody is. If we've got emotional people in our household, that would be me. We're gonna be feeling this, right? Yeah, Dara's like, yep, me too, right? And we're gonna we're gonna be feeling it, or we're gonna be seeing that with them, right? We might have already started to see it, right? And it's interesting because if we're somebody who isn't a very emotional person, or who can be a little bit detached with emotion, this is a hard time for us. We might struggle right now with being like, oh, all these emotions around me, right? Or it's like, I'm trying, like, it's a good opportunity for us to get in tune with them too, right? So for somebody who does struggle with emotion, it's like, okay, I can tap into this a little bit more. That energy is around me. How can I use that? Because emotions are needed, right? Emotions are valuable. We need emotions, right? They help us express ourselves. They help us process things, right? I'm a Cancer moon, so this is like my month. this is good time for me. It's like, whew, feeling good, right? This is where all my emotions. It's going to allow me the opportunity to make some changes and some breakthroughs in my life, because this is my flow right here, right? So for each one of you, your moon is going to also be traveling through this zodiac sign, right? But it's going to also hit a particular area of your life, which is a little bit more where we get into more predictive astrology, and we get into more personal astrology, where we start talking about you specifically and how it's going to affect you. So we can see it as the whole, as everybody, as the bigger energies, but then we can also zoom in and say, well, how is this going to affect me personally, right? So for some of you, I'm going to go ahead, since you guys are on the call, and if I have your information, I'm going to tell you. Monique, I don't have your information, but if you want to send me your date of birth, location, and time, I can tell you exactly where the moon will be traveling for you and give you some specifics for that. So just contact me, okay? Drea, for you, the moon is going to be traveling your third house, okay? So your third house is communication. So if you look at your natal chart, right, you'll see third house, and you'll see some things in there. Because I've done your chart, like, I know you have it. So the other thing is we look at not only where the moon is traveling, but we also look at where Cancer is on your natal chart. So Drea, I would also tell you, go and look at your chart. I looked it up, so I'll tell you, but I would actually go and look at it so you can get kind of used to like how this looks and what I'm talking about here. It's also, Cancer is in your fourth house, or Cancer zodiac sign rules your fourth house. So for you, there's going to be themes of communication and home and family. So you might even see those two combined, right? How my home, how my family is communicating. There's going to be this emphasis, right, around there. And I tell you guys this so that way, if there is something that you want to work on, right, and maybe it's in this area because the energy is already flowing with it. You don't have to. You can use it for anything, but this is something that our seasons, our cycles allow us to do. All right, so Miss Natalie, your moon is traveling your 8th house, and your 8th house is ruled by Cancer as well. So for you, that is going to be other people's money. This is going to be Also some transformation in there. So this is a really good opportunity if there's something that you've been wanting to work on or let go of or shed, so to speak, like a rebirth, right? This is a good time to do that. This is a really good time to do that. So if there is some old limiting beliefs, old ways of doing things that you want to shed, this is a good time to do it. All right, so I am going to go ahead and I have Rissy's and Carissa's. Even though you guys are on the call, I know you'll get the recording. So Rissy, your moon is traveling your second house. And so your second house is actually in the sign of Cancer as well. So for you, it's going to be about security. It's going to be about money, finances. So there's going to be energy around either how you're creating that stability, maybe what blocks you're having around money. That would be a good time. The other thing with Cancer is like we need to learn boundaries. So with Drea, it might be there's some boundaries that need to happen in the home with communication, right? And the family. With Natalie, maybe there's some boundaries around money and other people's money. And when you think of other people's money, it's not just like loans. It's not just like your spouse or your partner. We're talking about even like your clients, like it's how you're receiving money as well, right? So for Natalie, that's another one for you to think about. And for Rissy, you may be looking around more of how you're creating money, how you're receiving money, what you're doing to make money, and maybe even some beliefs around there or some boundaries around there as well. Carissa, your moon will be traveling your fifth house. So your fifth house is the house of Leo, which is creativity and leadership, which is funny because we were talking about this earlier, her and I. And it's also going to be, your sixth house is ruled by Cancer. So we're talking about service. So I would see a lot of thought and creativity around how you serve people, what the work it is that you're doing. You might also look at your day-to-day routine. Maybe there's some changes that you need to make in the day-to-day routine of how you do things, and or health. The sixth house also rules health. So this is also the house that my moon is traveling in, is the sixth house. So I'm looking at, maybe there's something I want to do around service or how I'm serving, right? Or it might even be my day-to-day routine. So those are just for you guys to have as background knowledge of like, this is where the energy is going to be for me. So maybe this is where I want to like dive in a little bit more. But again, it's completely up to you guys, okay? All right, so let's go through a couple of other things that are happening this month that I want to highlight for you guys, some dates that are kind of important, and we'll talk about some energies around them. So the first date is we want to look at, when we're looking at kind of planning out our month and our cycle, right? And going with the flow and not going against it, right? But being more with that flow of the energy. We want to look at not only where the different phases fall within the lunar cycle, but we also want to be aware of what other energies are happening. And so with that, we're looking at other planets. We're looking at where the sun is changing signs, right? We're looking at where Mars or Jupiter or where Venus, Mercury, where all those are happening, right? Like last month we were in Mercury retrograde, right? And so when we're thinking about planning, we're like, oh, we need to know, hey, Mercury retrograde's coming, so we need to be careful about the things that we're deciding. So if you're planning any travel and we're in Mercury retrograde, right? Well, that's something to think about, right? There could be some upsets. There could be some trip interruptions, right? Something of that nature, or communication, right? So we're going to look at some of the outer planets, and we're going to look at what's called the personal planets, which are the ones that are, and I know I'm getting into a little bit more astrology, but we want to look at these because these energies are affecting us, and these planets are closer to us, so we actually can feel them more, right? I just answered your question, Natalie. Good, I'm glad. All right, so the first thing we want to look at is we have Venus. Venus is moving into Gemini on July 31st. So So Venus is our planet of love and beauty and all things, right? It also rules the two zodiac signs of Taurus and Libra. Did I get that right? Or I might have got that wrong. Okay. I think that's right. But Venus is this we look at more comfort, we look at luxury, we look at beauty when we're looking at Venus. And so it moving into the sign of Gemini, which Gemini is, it's an air sign. So it's like communication. It's like sharing information, right? So we might see the surge of things of luxury, things of beauty, things of like talking, communicating in a more like wanting to step into that type of communication or that type of sharing of information. We might be looking at those types of things of luxury and beauty, love and whatnot. The other one we want to look at, so this is good to know, like if you're somebody who is like a love coach, right, or a relationship coach, or for yourself, right? Maybe you're in a relationship, that energy is going to be for you too, right? This connection with your partner. It's going to be more chit chat, right? More talking to each other. You might see that increase. The other thing that we're going to look at, the other planet that is going into a new sign during this cycle is actually going to be Mars. Mars is going to be moving into Aries. Aries is our sign of, instinct, impulse, right? It's like it jumps first. It doesn't look to see what's around it. It just goes. It's also the planet of action. When we think of Mars, Mars is our willpower, our motivation, our determination. So that happens on August 17th. So we're going to feel this surge of energy, the surge of like motivation and willpower around then. So if there's something in this next month where you're like, oh, I'm really going to need like an extra right? Or maybe you're doing something and you want to have that extra, power, willpower behind you. That's when I would say that would be a really good time to do that, right? The other thing is our sun, although we just moved into Leo, we're going to be moving into Cancer. We're going to be moving into Leo on the 16th of August. So there's going to be a shift in our sun sign within this lunar cycle. And it's right, those two, the 16th and the 17th, are right at the end of our lunar cycle. I wanted to make sure you guys knew that because that's actually what's going to kick off our next lunar cycle, right? So we're going to feel it at the very end of this one, but it's going to kick off the next one. And so the sun moving into Leo is creativity. It's actually creation. It rules anything around creation. So if there's something that you're looking to create, that is going to be the energy to do it. That new moon, our next lunar cycle, if there's something that you're wanting to create, best time to do it. Best time to do it. Leo also is visibility. So if you're somebody who wants to like stand out more in what you do or be known for something more, that's another really good one. So we're coming into that season, and I want to let you guys know that because as you're thinking about what you're doing right now, it's always good to know what's coming, right? What's the next kind of thing? Like when we think about holidays, right? It's like, okay, after this, then there's this, then there's this, and you can kind of plan ahead, right? It's the same kind of idea with these seasons and these cycles. Kind of want to look ahead to see what's coming up so we can anticipate where the energy is going so we know what we're going to need to bring to the table, right? All right, so let's get into some intention setting and then we'll do a walkthrough kind of how we might want to think about this and how to flow through this, and then we'll kind of start creating some ideas and some plans, and then we'll do some more Q&A if there's specific questions that you have around what you're planning. So what I want to do actually before I do that, let's do a quick, is there any questions around anything that I just mentioned, Cancer season? If I mentioned your specific house, any questions, let me know, because as we get into the intentions, I want you guys to really kind of think about what is it that you want to, what is your theme? What is your goal? What is your intention for these next 29.5 days. Go ahead and drop those if you do. Now I'm just going to take a quick sip. All right. Let me grab my notes, make sure I'm good. Okay, cool. All right, so let's go ahead and do a quick visualization. And by that, we're going to close our eyes. We're going to take a quick second and we're going to close our eyes. So if you're driving, please don't close your eyes. But if you are in a place where you can just like put your pencil down, put your pen down for a second, just kind of sit back in your chair. And let's go ahead by closing our eyes and taking a deep breath in. And hold it for just a moment and release. Do that again. Inhale. Hold. And release. Now I want you to just think about maybe what you want to create, what you want to shift, what you want to achieve in the next 30 days. As we enter this Cancer season, this Cancer cycle of nurturing, of family, of home, you may find that there's certain things popping in. There may be lots of ideas, or there may be just one or two. Whatever that is, just allow them to come. And if you have a few, I'm going to invite you to feel into them. What would it be like if I were to focus on this for the next month? What changes would I see, would I experience if I were to focus my energy here? See yourself overcoming any challenges. Allow yourself to step into that energy and to come to a new perspective. See the changes being made. Experience them, feel them. See the impact that this change is going to make. See, feel, and experience how this changes everything. And for some of you, it may be just the beginning. It may be the first baby step. For some of you, it may be that kickoff that ignites it all. Either way is just right. Go ahead and take a deep breath in. Hold and release. One more time, inhale, hold, and release. And in a moment, I'm going to ask you to write down what came to mind as you went through this exercise. The thing that you chose, the steps that you took, the impact that it made. When you're ready, go ahead and open your eyes and just jot down some notes. Just take another minute or so. All right, so everybody kind of got some notes down. Was there anything different from what you came into today that came up during that visualization? Was it pretty much what you were already thinking? Yeah, Monique, you're shaking your head like, yeah, kind of like you kind of knew this is what it was. Cool. Now, I had you go through one thing. Now, I'm a very firm believer. So anybody who's ever been to my New Moon Circle, who has ever done any type of goal setting with me, knows that there's one intention that we set. It's not this and this and this and oh, and this too. I want to give it all, right? There's one thing that we focus on. And the reason why is we need to know where our energy is going. If I say, you know what, I really want to focus on my health this month, and I also want to change my morning routine because for some reason it's not working. Two different things. My energy is now split. I'm saying health. Well, first off, what is health? What specifically with health am I talking about? Am I talking about my diet? Am I talking about my mindset? Am I talking about exercise? What am I talking about? If I said morning routine and it's not working, what about my morning routine? What's not working with my morning routine? Is there something that I'm not doing? Is it the time, right? The more clearer we can get, the more we know whether we're making the change or not. We know what's stopping us. And we also are able to then attract the opportunities, right? You guys know about the law of attraction, right? What you think about becomes, right? And it's not just what you think about. There's, a little bit of a mishap with that because it's not just thinking about it. It's allowing the opportunities to come to us, being aware of them, and then taking the action. It's not just sit and like, all right, I wish $1 million would come. No, right? It's like, I see the opportunities that are now coming to me. I'm open to them. I'm available to them. But the more specific we are, the more the universe, God, whatever your belief is able to bring that to us. It's able to give us the steps that we need. It's able to give us the opportunities, right? I don't say I want $5,000. I say I want the opportunity to make $5,000, right? I want I had an intention around, it wasn't about money. It was actually about collaboration. It was like, I want to collaborate with people because those collaborations are going to give me opportunities, right? When you think about how we are framing, what are the words we are using? Words are so important. The words that we choose, right? If I say, I'm not somebody at all who likes to quote unquote exercise. The word just drives me crazy. It's like, I gotta go do that hard thing that I don't want to do, right? But if I say, I want to move my body today, well, there's so many different ways that I can move my body, right? I could dance, I could do yoga, I could turn on there's a girl that I watch on YouTube who does like 90s hip hop dance videos, like dance workouts. And it's like, yeah, because 90s dance music and I love 90s dance music and it's like dancing. So it's not even a workout to me. It's like, I'm just having fun in my living room, right? I can go for a walk, right? Exercise, doesn't sound fun to me. But when I say move my body, it's like, okay, yeah, I can go for a bike ride. I can go walk around the block. I can go to the park, right? I can move my body in some way. So how you're framing your intention, I want you to be really clear. Are you doing the and, or do you have some commas? Or is it very specific, right? Are the words that you're using exciting you about it? Or are they like, oh, okay, I know I need to do this, so I'm going to focus on this. Like, I know I need to exercise, so I'm going to say exercise. Okay, you said, Danny, it's in my 6th house, so I want to exercise. You said that was around health, so, okay, it's exercise. I'm going to exercise. But exercise does not bring you joy. Exercise is not fun. It's not words. It's don't play around with those words. If it's like with other people's money, with Natalie, right, where we're talking about, if it's clients, right? It's not like, oh, I need to go get a new client. Maybe it's, I'm ready to make new connections. right? Maybe it's I'm ready to connect with people, right? Or I want to connect with 10 people this month. Instead of saying I want to, get 5 new clients, it's I want to connect with 5 new clients, right? I want to connect with 5 new people. So the energy is just a little bit different in that wording. That's more exciting. I know Natalie to know that if I tell her connection, she's going to be like, yes, I want to connect with people, right? Versus go get 5 clients. Different. Very different. Yeah. I thought you might like that, Natalie. All right. So I want you guys just to take a moment and kind of word that intention. Get really clear on what it is and write it out as if it were one sentence, like, with this new moon in Cancer, I want to X, or I'm ready to X, right? You might want to start with those. You don't have to. You can say like building, clear family communication, right? With Andrea, or whatever her thing might be, right? Just take a moment and just, again, this isn't final, right? Because as we learned, this is just the idea phase. We're just sparking the mind. We're just waking it up to say, what is it? What can I do? All right, how are you guys doing? Good. You getting your any questions? Anybody want any help in clarifying? Or I know I got a couple of questions in privately in the chat, so because it was private, I'll keep it private. But if you do have any questions, feel free to either unmute or throw them in the chat. I'm more than happy to help you clarify. Because what I find is when we're really general, we don't know what actions to take next. And our next step is going to really plan out through the cycle how we're going to do this. You might be saying, for some of you, like, they're kind of more broader topics, right? We're going to do it. I'm going to show you how. But we want to be really clear on what the outcome is of it, right? What is it that we expect to get on the other end? If I say that I want to move my body more, what is that? Is it moving my body so that I can clear my mind? Is it moving my body so that I can release stress? Is it moving my body so that I can release weight? Like, what is my energy behind it, right? What is it that I really want? We want to make sure that we're clear on that too, right? And the words, because the words are what's going to help us within our subconscious mind be really clear on what it is we wanting to attract. If I say I want to move my body so that I can release my stress, right? Maybe there's some things that are coming up that are going to be stressful for me. And I'm thinking, like, I want to move my body to release the stress. Like, now I have this image of my mind, like, I'm not just working out, I'm not just exercising, I'm releasing any stress I have. All right, we're going to take another minute or so with that. And just want to make sure you guys have a really clear intention before we move forward. All right, so let's go ahead And I want to walk you through this calendar that I created for you guys, which is super exciting. And with this, what we're going to do, we're going to walk through it, and I'm going to show you how we can now plan out something through this. So whatever it is that you set as your intention. Now, I know some of you had some intentions that are more, you know, kind of a bigger type thing. But when we look at, and as I walk through this, you'll see how we go through these different phases, and we're adding this new element of the actual element, the zodiac signs, to kind of see what energy there's going to be and how to work with that energy, right? So at the top here, we have our July 19 and 20, right? So this is today, our new moon in Cancer. And we go all the way through our next new moon, which is in Leo on August 18th. So this is just the lunar cycle, right? When we look at traditional calendars, we go from the first of the month to the end of the month, right? With lunar planning, we're looking at from new moon to new moon. So as we look at this, this is our next month. This is what we're planning for. So if you have anything that is going to be coming up between now and August 18th, you want to take those into consideration, right? Because this is our month. So we start here with our new moon in Cancer. Now, Cancer is a water sign. So you'll see this little blue droplet here, right? That's water. So we're in Cancer for the next 2 days, the zodiac sign of Cancer. And this is where we feel this energy of family, nurturing, home, right? All those characteristics of Cancer, this is what's kicking us off. And after Cancer, we move into this little fire guy, which is our fire sign. So I'm not going to go into each zodiac because that's even more information. But I think if we know the energy of it, it helps, right? Because each zodiac sign has its own little style, right? We could talk about a Pisces water versus a Cancer water, right? Very different, still waters, but very different energy. So after Tuesday and Wednesday, we start moving into fire energy. And our fire energy is more action. It's going to take us into, you know, more willpower, more determination, right? And also when we start moving into waxing crescent. You guys remember what waxing crescent is? It's the second phase. And that's Drea's like, yeah, I know. It's the second phase. What is that? What is that phase, Drea? What's waxing crescent? Oh, I can't hear you. There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. How's it going, my friend?
Good, good. It's the phase that we need to get through and kind of fight those moods of, you know, questioning and doubting ourselves, because we have just set our goals for new moon, and now we are in that phase of like not sure about our goals that we're setting, or should we be doing, we're questioning ourselves. There's a doubt, I think.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I learned something.
Yeah, and this is the crucial. If you guys remember, I said this is the crucial phase. Waxing crescent is, man, it's no joke. It will pull you back. It will say, oh, well, you said that, but no. This is where we start to procrastinate. This is where we've said, like, I've wanted to do this for so long, but now that doubt has stepped in. So I'm showing you guys this, and I put it on this calendar because this is at the end of this week. You guys have great intentions right now, but come Thursday, Friday, it's going to be like, do I really want to do this? There's so much going on right now. Maybe I'll wait. All those like doubt, right? And it's in a fire sign. There's lots of energy behind it, right? Lots of action behind not doing the thing. We also then move into our earth sign, which is our little flower or leaves here, I guess, right? Our earth sign. And our earth sign is gonna help us be a little bit more practical, but we're still gonna be doubting. We might even fall into, you know how sometimes when you're practical about things, well, it's like, well, let's be practical. Danny, come on, you know that you're not gonna go do this thing, right? We get into that side of practical, right? Well, I don't really have that much time. And we start to get into those. So the end of this week, I want you guys to look out. There's gonna be some doubt. There's gonna be some like, I said I wanted to do this, but I don't know, right? Maybe now's not the right time. I don't have everything that I need yet. I'm gonna wait because I want to get this, right? That's gonna start to happen towards the end of this week. So pay attention, right? Be aware. Okay, I got this. I can do this, right? And then we're gonna be moving into, so after we've like, okay, not gonna do this anymore, like, nope, I'm giving up. And then we're like, see, I can't do this, right? And in our earth sign, we're like, no, I can't do this. There's no time to do this. It doesn't make sense. Like, why would I even do this? Then we get into our air sign, which is these three little guys there, right? That whoosh, the air, and that air is like talking you out of it even more. It's like the flip flop. Yeah, I could do it. No, I shouldn't. Yeah, well, I really want to do it. No, but you know you can't do it, right? We're going to go flip-flopping. Okay? We don't want to flip-flop. I'm going to go through, which is interesting, because in this next week, this is interesting, right? We go through all these 4 elements in the next week. Water, fire, earth, and air. And they're all hitting a different part of us. So even with we hit the 3 of them, right? We're so dreamy right now. We're so creative right now. We're like, ooh, this is, yes. But then by the end of the week, it's like, oh no, I can't do this. I'm done. This isn't gonna work. And we've talked ourselves out of it. So now we get into first quarter. Now, if you remember, first quarter is where we finalize our plan. First quarter is where we said, so this is a week out, right? So this is next Monday. Next Monday, if we push through those obstacles, those challenges, those limiting beliefs, it's where we can finalize our plan to say, this is what I'm going to do, and this is how I'm going to do it. Right? We've talked, we had all the doubts come in, and if we've overcome them, where we were like, well, I don't really have time. Oh, well, here's the time. I found the time. I could do the time. I could do it here, right? If I said I want to change my morning routine and I want to get up at 5:30 in the morning, right? Maybe I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get up at 5:30 every morning now. That's my goal for this new moon cycle, right? And then I start to say like, well, maybe I should just go up at 6:30. Maybe that's easier. I'll just do 6:30, right? The first quarter is where I have the opportunity to say, okay, Danny, you're going to start waking up at 6:30, and then in a couple of weeks, maybe you can wake up at 6, and then maybe in a couple of weeks after that, you can wake up at 5:30, right? I start to create that plan of how I ease myself into it, right? Creating the plan is also looking at your calendar and saying, like, plug in some dates, right? Some things that maybe I want to happen. Maybe I set a goal of like, I want to make sure I get, like, if it's like, I want to complete this paperwork, or I want to reorganize my office, or I want to have this conversation with somebody, right? Or I got to fill out this paperwork. Whatever your thing is, that's where we start putting the things on the calendar. That's where we start planning it out. Like, when am I going to do this? How am I going to do this, right? If I said the move my body, right? If I was talking about the move my body idea, well, then I might look at like, okay, I want to do this 3 times a week. Looking at my schedule, because I have my schedule, right? Looking at my schedule, when are the best days going to be to do that? Right? So I look at the end of the week. I can look at this and be like, well, I can look at all those fire signs, and those are probably a good time to do it, right? I could say maybe I'll do it on those days because I'll have more energy on those days. I want to take more action on those fire signs. And I look, maybe if it's like I want to be more creative, or I want to create something, I might look at the water signs and be like, ooh, I want to do something creative on these water days, right? Because that's when your creativity is high. Or on the earth days, we might look at, I need to get this stuff done. This is the days of like all the things that are on the to-do list that you're like, I don't want to do these things. Like that's the day to do them. That's the day to get down and dirty and like, okay, got my list here. Let me get at it. Let me plug away, right? So first quarter is where we start to set that plan. We finalize the plan. So we've been thinking about it. We kind of have some ideas. And if we've overcome our objections, okay, I got my plan, right? And through our plan, we started off in an air sign, which an air sign is really, really good because that air sign is making us think. There's some research that we're doing. We're getting some knowledge in this area, right? And then we move into water. So we might be able to feel back into this and connect to why we chose to do this in the beginning. Why did we choose to do this today, right? We can feel back into that energy. We can get a little creative with maybe how we create that plan. We can use that energy for that, right? And then we move into our fourth phase, which is waxing gibbous. So this is where our sun is our moon is three-quarter brightness, right? Where if you look up and you'll see like the crescent, but it's like mostly bright, right? Mostly light. It's mostly illuminated because that's our energy building. Remember, that's where our energy like starts. This is the phase of get it done. This is where the action starts happening. So we want to look at starting July 31st, which actually happens to be what too? Remember I said this is when Venus moves into Gemini, right? And we're in a nice, beautiful fire sign. So it kicks off this phase with like, let's do this. Let's get to work. Whatever I said, whatever I've been thinking this past week and a half about, I'm ready to do it. You see how long that took us? And for some of you that are used to like, I set my intention and I get to it, you're like, wait, hold up, Danny. Like, you want me to think about this for a week? Like, are you serious? Like, I got to get going. But see how this time has allowed us to take a step back and to really like think about it and get clear about it and feel into it so that we're ready. On this July 31st, August 1st, let's go. Like I'm so ready. I'm so prepared. I'm ready. I got my plan. I'm ready to go. Many of us just go. We're very Aries and just go. I set my intention. All right, let's do it. Let's make this happen. But there's some time we need. We need some time. We need to create our plan, right? So we get into our waxing gibbous over Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and bam, we've got our full moon, which is the Capricorn. That's our full moon in Capricorn on the 3rd. So you'll see I used the symbol there, so that's the symbol for Capricorn, which brings us into our earth energy again. Capricorn is an earth sign. So with this is where we're at the peak, right? This is where the sun is beautiful and bright and it's lit and it's showing us everything, where we start to see the action that we've taken over this weekend start to manifest for us. Maybe there's some things that start sprinkling around, right? This is a pre-celebration. Do you guys remember that? It's a pre-celebration, right? We're not celebrating the full thing yet. A lot of people think full moon is like manifestation time. It's not. It's the very early beginning. It's the I'm gonna celebrate myself because I took action over the past weekend, right? I got to this. I started my plan. And if it's not, we didn't do anything. What do? We reassess. Okay, what went wrong? Why did I stop myself? What was it? Was there a belief that I had? Was there something I didn't consider? Did something else get in the way? Do I need to rethink how I'm gonna do this? Something new popped in, right? So we have that full moon energy. So we started on July 31st, and we're moving through our full moon with our earth and then our air sign into our water. And this energy is all about what? Doing the things, getting things done, doing the tasks, right? So if you have tasks that are related to whatever it is that you're doing, if it's research, if it's paperwork, you know, if I go back to the moving my body idea, it's the actual getting out there and walking, right? Or dancing or whatever it might be, right? It's doing those things. And we continue to do that until we get into our next phase, which is waning gibbous. And waning gibbous is our stage of clarity and transformation. And it's in a beautiful water sign. Water signs are one of the best signs to do any type of transformation work. Any type of transformation work. And this one in particular happens to be a Pisces water. That's even more so. This is where we start to begin those final action steps, right? This is that active moving into the passive energy, right? We still got good energy here, right? In this water, and then we've got some really beautiful fire signs here. On the 9th and the 10th of August, really good fire. So really good energy to help us kick off those last little tidbits that we need to do, whatever it might be, as we move into last quarter. This is where we start, the energy starts to drain, right? The moon, it becomes more dark than it is light, right? And last quarter is where we start to look at more meaning, significance. So how does this fit in? What is it that I'm doing and how is it helping? How is it significant for my future? What is it that it's doing for me, right? And in this particular sign, it's an earth sign. And this particular one is actually a Taurus. Yeah, because this one would be Aries, so this would be Taurus. And Taurus is all about comfort, security, stability. And this is that last quarter energy, right? This is where if we've made mistakes during this cycle so far in the 3 weeks prior, we're really apparent of that. If I had said like, okay, today I say, okay, I'm going to move my body. This is what I'm going to do. And I got caught up in the waxing crescent phase and I didn't do anything after that. Come last quarter, it's going to hit me. It's going to be hard. Like, oh, you know those times of the month where you're like, I said I was going to do this and I didn't. And you start like getting mad at yourself because you didn't do it. That's where this phase falls in. That's when you start to feel it. Now, if you have been working towards your thing, it's going to be like, yeah, man, what else can I do? What else is possible now? And we move through that pretty much in the earth sign of Taurus. And then we move into our last phase, and as we move into air, which is our waning crescent, which is the final phase. You guys remember, it's the final phase. This is the integration. This is the introspection. This is where we start to reflect, right? So this past weekend, there was probably some reflection that you guys have felt. A little bit of reflection on like, what's been going on? What have I been doing? How did that last month go? That's where we move into that final energy, which again, we started off with thinking because it's in the sign of Gemini there, it's an air sign. And then we move into a water sign, move into Cancer actually. So we go through this entire month, going through all of these elements twice. And it's actually, what we've done is we've gone through every single zodiac sign. From Aries all the way to Pisces. And every single energy or every single sign has its own unique energy, right? It's in a certain element as I've listed them here. And they're going to bring a slightly different feel. You start to follow this, right? Which is why I wanted to create this for you guys. So you guys could see it and kind of anticipate and experience it for yourself. Remember I said the best way to do this is to get started. And really start analyzing how are you feeling? Like, what was your energy like this weekend? How'd you feel? Did you find it was a little bit more inward? Did you find that maybe you wanted to have more deeper conversations? Did you find you wanted to chit chat with people? Or maybe you just wanted to have some internal dialogue with yourself. This weekend we were in Gemini, which is an air sign. So there was a lot of conversation that happened in my household this past weekend. There was all kinds of conversations. And there were more deeper conversations. It wasn't so surfacey. It was more deeper. It was more inward. But that was what? That was the waning crescent. I'm sorry, the waxing crescent. It was waning crescent. It was the very end. She was like, wait, the very end. It's that waning crescent energy of being more introspective, of thinking more inward though, right? So let's go ahead and go through like an example of what this would look like as we start planning this out. So if I use the idea of moving my body, and I'm gonna draw on this a little bit. If I say, okay, I want to move my body. So from new moon, which is the 20th to the 22nd, I might look at doing some activities like the things that I would do during this time is I would be thinking about what is it that I want to do? What are the type of exercises that I can do? I might look for ways to move my body, right? I might just brainstorm a list, right? Oops, a little bit too far there. I might brainstorm a list here. I might say, okay, I might find some YouTube videos. Maybe there's some YouTube videos that I like. Or I might just be thinking about it. I might just spend some time thinking about it and filling into like, what would that be, right? Remember, this first stage is all about idea. It's about getting clear on what it is. Now, if we go into our next one, we might now look at here, some of the activities I might do would be, well, all right, so if I'm looking at obstacles, right, if I know that this is going to be the time of obstacles, I might do some mindset work. I might think about how I'm wording, right? Just instead of saying exercise, I might look at, well, maybe it's because I'm saying exercise. I don't like exercise. But this is when I did this for exercise is how I came up with move my body instead of exercise. Because I was stopping myself right here like, no, I don't want to do that. But when I reframed it for myself and said, right, so I'll put reframe here. When I reframed it for myself and said, move my body, oh, okay, that was easier. I can move my body, right? And then I even thought about it and was like, well, if I just do 5 minutes a day, I can move my body for 5. I could turn on one song, dance for one song, and I'll be fine, right? That was that reframing there. Now when we get into first quarter, what are some things we can do during first quarter? This is our plan. This is where I start looking at my calendar, right? Start plotting in some dates, right? Or I finalize a workout, right? I have a YouTube playlist maybe, right? See how this is how we're starting to fall in place here. Now we get into phase 4. This is the do it. This is where I start working out, right? I start walking, I start running, I do it. Whatever the thing is, I do it. And then I got my pre-celebration here, right? So what might I do to pre-celebrate? What is something that I could do to pre-celebrate? Pre-celebrate. If I've been doing my thing, what might I do to pre-celebrate? Maybe I go on a mini shopping, right? Maybe I do a little mini shopping spree. Maybe I buy something, right? I celebrate what I've done. Like I buy, we've been bike riding more. And so maybe if I've like, okay, I'm getting started on doing this thing. And one thing I noticed that with my bike rides is my phone. What do I do with my phone? So maybe I buy something to hold my phone on my bike. But I only do that if what? If I've been taking the action. What we can't celebrate what we haven't done. Now if I've kind of been doing but not really been doing it, well then maybe I have a different celebration here. Maybe I'll just take the day off and say like, you know what, Danny, just take the day off. Like I did remember I told you guys about my 4th of July and how I had my coffee with I didn't do my fasting that day, right? That was my little celebration. It was small, but it was my little celebration, right? No, I'm not gonna fast today. I'm gonna do what I want to do today. I'm gonna drink my coffee with cream and sugar, right? It's a mini celebration. Guys, don't underestimate the small things that we can do to celebrate ourselves. Make a big difference, right? Because then I wasn't so eager to, you know, jump off and not do it anymore. It was like that small little action that I was like, okay, I celebrated, I got it. Now we move into that waning gibbous. Now I might make adjustments. I might be like, I don't like that YouTube playlist. I want a new YouTube playlist. Or I might make a new music playlist that I go on my bike with, right? Or I change the schedule, right? Maybe I change my schedule. Oops. That's what I start to do here. Now, if I look at last quarter, this is where I can relate back to why am I doing this? Why am I moving my body? Right? This is my why. And go back to my why. Why am I doing this? Why did I decide back on July 20th to move my body? How is it serving me? How is it serving my overall purpose? How does it relate to that? And then now I got my final step and I get to reflect. So here I might do like a little debrief, right? How did the month go? What did I do? How many days did I do it? What worked? What didn't work? Right? This is, I'm all about, like if you've ever done planning with me, I'm all about looking at the past. I'm all like, where have we been? What did we do? That tells us a lot about what we need to look at for our next phase. This is where that reevaluation period comes in. As I prepare to either make a new intention around the same thing in this next lunar cycle, or I do something completely different. But I've already started my momentum here that I might at this point be able to carry it on. Or maybe I change it, right? Maybe I was bike riding and walking, but now I'm like, I want to go take a class or online class, right? Maybe I want to take an online fitness class. Or maybe I've been staying at home and not doing anything, and now I'm like, okay, I want to go bike riding. That's for the next phase. So now having kind of this idea of how to take our intention and now use it to go through our lunar phases, because what does this allow us to do? This allowed us to feel into these, to flow into these, and not go from, here's what I want to do, to, oops, I don't want to do this anymore. Or to jump without looking at where we're going. Right? How many times have we done this? Where we've jumped and it's like, oh, or we've stood so long in the thinking and the planning that we never execute. I'm famous for doing that one too. I spend so much time thinking about, well, I could do this, and I could do that, and I could do this. But these lunar phases are giving me the path. They're showing me what to do and when to do it. They're helping me use the energy instead of going against it. So now we can look at this and be like, okay, you know, those watery days, if I'm trying to do something like that's really hard, where like if it's for the exercise, right? The moving my body, that's not something that's normal in my life, and I'm trying to go against what I've been doing. Those days are going to be extra hard. So looking at this is like, those aren't going to be good days for you to even think about doing this, Daddy. Do it on those little fire guys, or do it on the little leaf guys. Do it on the earth days or the fire days. On the air days, your ideas are more, the things that you'd want to do are more quick bursts. So if I were to think about doing, moving my body on an air day, I'm going to say like, okay, I'm just going to do this quick 10-minute video, right? I'm going to do this quick 5-minute video. I'm just going to do this one song because my energy is just like, it's like moving. It's air. If you think about air just moves, right? Constantly moving. Very different than the water sign. If I say I want to release something this month, right? If I want to change a belief that I have or a way that I've been doing something, and that's more of like a deep emotional level, I'm going to use those water days. Those water days are going to help me. Water is fluid, right? This is where we can tune into the emotions. This is if it's something that's on a deep emotional level, those are the days to do it because we can connect with it easier. On the fire days, you just want to like go at it. You just want to do it. And sometimes for some of us, we need that energy, right? Like my love is very much the type of person that like if he's struggling to do something, he needs like that kind of like that like army guy like yelling at you like, you idiot, get up and do this, you're lazy, you know, like and that's his energy. He loves that. And so for him, those fire days are really good for him because he can use that energy, that very passionate energy. For me, that does not excite me. Like somebody yelling at me, like, that don't work for me. Like I like to fill into things a little bit more, right? So those water days might be more for me, right? I even noticed, this is funny, but I noticed that my playlist, the music that I listen to changes as the elements change. On my fire days, I'm like on those pop, like super high upbeat type songs. Like on my water days, it's more like soft, peaceful, you know, like really chill music. Also on the phases, the lunar phases too, depending on where we're at, what phase we're in. The full moon, it's like, if I'm on a full moon and a fire, man, I want to listen to some really quick, upbeat music. So now I want you guys to take a moment, and I just want you guys to kind of either take some notes or just write down some things that you guys can do related to your specific intention through these cycles, or through the cycle, through the phases, right? As I did with the move my body, right, where I looked at, okay, I could start looking at ways to move my body. I can start looking at some YouTube videos that I might want, right? Because here's the thing. If I were to do the move my body and I said on August 31st, I'm working out, I'm doing a YouTube video, but then what happens on August 31st? I got to find a YouTube video. So I'm searching and searching, and then it's like, oh, the time to work out's gone. Don't have any more time now, right? If I start looking now, I'll be ready. I'll be prepared. I'm thinking ahead. I'm not just filling into it right now. I'm thinking ahead. So just kind of take some notes, like jot some things down. What might you want to do during these phases? I'm sorry, these phases. If you have a question about a particular phase or element, let me know. So like, when would it be good to do this? Or I'm thinking about this. GPG. Okay, come here. You want to say hi? Chicky, you want to say hi? Say hi. Say hi. Say hi. You kept bugging me, so I'm like, okay, I'll pick you up. Oh, look at Dicky Jake. There's another one. Look at. Say hi, Dicky Jake. Aw. So cute. I saw Frida earlier too, Drea, running in the background. Fire and Earth Days would be the days to take action in my business, help with leads and such. Yes. So that's a great question. Okay. So let's look at the calendar here. So if you're looking at, is your intention, Monique, around like your business, like getting clients and stuff? Okay. So for you, I would say the best days is actually going to be that 31st, 1st, 2nd. If you want people to take action, that's going to be the best days to do it. So like if you put an offer out on that day, like on the 31st, it's got to be like something they can act on immediately. Not something that's going to be like, it's going to take them a couple of days to get, or like their energy is going to be like, I want it now kind of idea. As you get into that full moon, this is where you can offer something that's more like for the long term kind of idea. Because Capricorn is more long term goals. It's more like the legacy kind of idea. So if there's something around that energy, that's what I would do around here. Through your 4th, 5th, and 6th, those air days, that's going to be more of you helping them make a decision, helping them decide that whatever it is you're selling or whatever it is that they need to buy from you is the thing. And then on those water days, that's tapping into the emotional side of it. So you can use all of the signs depending on, it just all depends on how you're going to frame it, right? So it's like the fire is more action, like take action now. Leads. So following up with leads, again, your best bet is going to be within that weekend and that week, but the energy is going to be different depending on what it is you're doing, right? If you're wanting to let's see, like sign the contract or right, do that, like that type of a thing, you're going to be looking more so on the full moon, on that 3rd. That's more of the like sign the contract kind of idea. The 4th, 5th, and 6th with the air energy, if you're following up with leads, it's helping them make the decision. It's helping them. It's going to be in Aquarius. So I would say you want to do more of how it's going to help them serve the bigger community, how it's making an impact in the world. Because that's what Aquarius wants, right? It wants to serve the greater good, the community. And then those water days are how it's going to transform them. It's going to appeal to the emotional side of things. It might be like their dreams. What are their dreams like, right? Tapping into that idea, like whatever your thing is, like how does that fit into their dreams? And then we go back into the fire again, which actually this fire is the Aries. So any quick offers you have here, I would do there, 9th and 10th. Like those quick buy it now type things, if you have anything like that. Yeah, I'll send it to you guys in an email, this calendar. I'm sorry, I got a message privately, Zara. I can send this in an email to you guys tonight, so that you guys can have it and then use it to fill in with your whatever you guys want, or use it as a base on what you're doing. That was a great question, Monique. Anything else? Anybody else have any questions around? I'm gonna sneeze. Okay, sorry. I just sneezed. All right, so you guys have like kind of an idea of what you might be thinking of how you want to use these dates and these times to kind of flow with something. All right, so the last thing is going to be, before we get into any final questions that you guys may have, is that I want you guys to also think about this from a bigger picture standpoint. So just as our moon is going from dark to light to dark again, how is your thing, your intention, gonna move through that? Coming from a bigger standpoint, right? We're not looking at the little details here. We're looking at the bigger idea. How is it going to do that? How is it going to gain the momentum and then pull back? And for some of you, this may be just the beginning. I said this in our visualization. Sometimes the things that we do are going to be a cycle or two, right? For me, there's something I'm planning for September, but I'm starting it with this new moon. Because I'll have this new moon, I'll have the Leo new moon, and then I'll be ready for my thing, right? So I'm taking a whole cycle and a half pretty much. And how I'm personally doing this is going to be going through this next few days. I'm going to be thinking about really kind of brainstorming on what is this thing going to be. I've kind of already been doing it in the last lunar cycle. It was very much more of a brainstorming for me. So I'm going to do some final clarifications of brainstorming on what it is that I really want. Like, I've had some thoughts, I've had some ideas, but now I'm ready, right? Then I'm going to move into and be like, okay, got to work on that mindset, because I can easily get back to like, well, people are going to want this. Are they going to want to buy it? Or is that too high? Is that too high of a price? Is it too low of a price, right? I start getting to all the little details. And then in that first quarter, I'm going to start plotting it out. Like, what does that actually look like? When will this be? What will the dates be? What will the thing be, right? And then coming waxing gibbous, I'm going to start working on the actual things, the emails, the website, the handouts, the flyers, right? The promotions. I'm going to start looking at creating those things. So I'm giving myself a whole lunar cycle to work on all those things. I'm not just saying like, here's what I want to do, I'm launching it here, right? It's like, no, I'm going to work on this all this month. All right, I have a quick question. We'll be able to do a quick reference or legend on the water, fire, and earth signs as a reference. Yeah, Yeah, so I am going to do, I'm going to do a whole class on elements because they actually affect us quite a bit, and especially the type of actions that you're going to take or that you'd want to take. So I am going to do a whole class on it because it needs its own separate training, but I can run through them really quickly for you guys. And I don't have a reference yet, but I know for that class I will. And I'm either going to do that class on August 4th, or I might wait and do it in September. So I'm still looking at those 2 dates, but yeah, I will definitely. I can go through them right now really quickly for you guys, and then I can also I'll let you know when I do that class, because that class is going to be all on the elements and why they matter and how we work with them. And get into more personal astrology, we can look at what is your dominant element, right? We start looking at what is your dominant element. We can start looking at how you're going to react and respond through these lunar cycles as well. So we start with our water. Our water is our creative time. It is our emotion time, right? This is where we'll start feeling into emotions a lot more as well. These days, I would say you want to leave for things like visioning. You might want to even do some extra sleeping, maybe a nap if you can, right? You'll be more like this morning. I didn't want to get out of bed. I was awake, but I was like, I don't really want to get out of bed. Like I was feeling very, very tired. Even though I had gotten 8 hours of sleep, I was still feeling like really tired, really low energy. And I honored that because I knew I had a busy day today. I knew I was going to go pretty late tonight. So I knew that I needed to honor that and take the extra 30 minutes in bed and just chill for a bit, right? But you're going to feel your energy's a lot lower. And I wouldn't do like anything that's going to require a lot of energy or a lot of focus. I wouldn't do those days. Your fire is definitely action, taking the action. It's going to be, if you need to ignite your willpower or your motivation to do something, this is what that energy is going to do for you. So if there's an extra boost that you need, these are the days to do it. Or these days you're not going to want to sit still. Like if you have to sit in the office all day, take a walk during lunch. You're going to want to like get out and move, like do something. It's also a good time, like if there's something that you haven't been wanting to do it on those days. You'll feel like, okay, all right, I could do this, right? On your earth days, this is all the little detail stuff. This is getting that to-do list and getting to work, like paperwork. If you've got a lot of paperwork, or for me, what I tend to do on earth days is like I write my social media stuff. Well, actually, I don't write it. I write it on water days because I want to feel into emotions more. But on earth days, I'll like schedule them, or I'll like kind of like put things together, right? I'll do more like I created this calendar on an earth day, but then I actually colored it and put all the coloring and all that stuff on a water day. So I wanted to be more creative, right? On the air days, your mind is going to be fluctuating. So your air days is going to be like 20-minute activities or less. So you can get I get a lot of things done on air days, but I know that I need to move quick. Like I can't, like if you're going to tell me to sit here for an hour presentation, I can't do that on that day. My mind is just like, I just want, give me the facts, give me the details. Like I don't need to know like the whole backstory. Just give me the quick, like if you guys remember Reader's Digest, right? Give me the Reader's Digest version. Like bullet points, please. I don't need a long discussion. and then they just repeat. I hope that was helpful. If you have any more questions around that, let me know. Or any specific days for specific actions, let me know. But the thing that's so beautiful about this, and I don't know if you guys can see this, is one of the things that, and we'll talk about this when we talk more about elements, but one of the things is if we don't honor these elements as they're coming up, if we don't fill their cups, we're not going to have that energy, right? You guys remember when I was talking about if we don't fill our water cup days, those fire days that we're looking forward to like, yes, I'm going to get these things done, I'm going to do this thing, we're not going to have the energy to do that. So we need to fill each cup. This is what increases our motivation, our productivity, and our focus, right? We know when to have those creative days. Because like when I think about, like for me, right, I own my own business, and so there's social media that I have to do. Marketing, right? It's a big part of what I have to do. And all of these elements help me figure out my marketing, right? The water helps me do the pictures and the filters, and it helps me, you know, create beautiful things, right? The templates or the guides, right? My fire days are where I'm like, man, I gotta get things done. I gotta do these things, right? I'm just not a person that like, I'm not a writer. Like it's not my forte. Put me on camera and I'll go for hours, but help me write a newsletter, like not my thing. I just don't like doing it. So on my fire days, that's when I do it. Or on my earth days, when it's like, oh, Danny, sit down and write it, right? The earth days are when I get my things done. It's when I pull out the long list of things that I need to do, and it's like when you have that drawer that you need to clean out. You've been kind of putting everything in, right? And it's like, this in that drawer. It's like you take the drawer out, you start doing the things, you clean it out. That's what the earth days are. And then the air days are when you connect the dots. So for me, I connect my pictures with my captions, right? Or if there's like something that I've been trying to figure out, I'm able to connect the dots here. So the ones are the two elements. Thank you for asking that, Andrea. What happens is like we're moving out of one sign and into another. Now, something we haven't talked about, which when we talk about elements, we'll talk about void of course moons as well. Void of course moons happen in between each sign. So in here, when we move from our air sign over to our water sign, there's a void of course moon that is happening, which means it's not in any sign. It's like transitioning. So there's no energy for it to reflect for us. Now that period can sometimes be like a little less than an hour or less than an hour, all the way to a full day. Last week we had a full day. That was void of course. And so like those days, I kind of like, I don't really plan anything major on those days because I already know. You'll also feel like when you start to get in tune with this, you'll start to see how that energy is happening. Like for here, it's morning and then it goes into the evening. So in the morning, I may want to be figuring some things out, but in the evening or the afternoon evening, it's like, I just want to chill. Let's watch a chick flick, right? Or from like, I'm really sleepy in the morning to like, I'm ready to get things done in the afternoon. So I can plan my day out here, right? I know that, you know what, maybe I'm going to have an easy morning. I'm not going to schedule anything. But come noon, let's get to work. Now, I didn't put the times in here because, I mean, that we'll get like into a lot more. But I kind of give you guys the idea so that you can see. Sometimes these are 6 o'clock in the morning, and then the whole day is our fire, basically our fire, right? But they're from one side to the other. And then on some of these, there actually is, I don't think I have it here. I think there may be like, it's like, I think on this one, the 10th to the 11th, I think the fire we move into the earth sign like at 1 o'clock in the morning. So like for me, it was like, that's basically the day, right? So there's no reason to put, we're asleep. There's no reason to put it there. Yeah, so I wouldn't say that you're necessarily more productive. I would say that your energy is different. And so when you know what that energy is, that's how you become more productive, because you know what to work on during those times. Like I know, okay, if I have some water days, like I have another water day tomorrow, I know that I can work on some creative stuff tomorrow. And the rest of the week, I'm not going to work on anything creative. But like when I really need to do some real good creativity, I'm going to do it tomorrow. You see how you could start? So then we're not going gung-ho, this fiery energy all the time. But we're able to then like, okay, I know this weekend, man, I need to work on those little details. I need to get that to-do list, clean that drawer out. Right? Or I brainstorm on my air days. My air days are my best days to brainstorm. So if I'm trying to figure something out, or I'm like, I really want, like when I do natal charts, I do them on Fridays and Saturdays. When I like actually, like for this particular calendar, I would do it on Friday and Saturday, because there's a lot of detail in that, right? I need to like look at a lot of different things on the chart. There might be some research even that I need to do. So that takes a lot more like just doing it type of energy. Where on my air days, I mean, I could do them, but I'm not going to have the same type of energy that I would on an earth day. Does that make sense? Kind of, okay. Like the water days, my air days, I couldn't focus, because natal charts take a lot of focus, right? I mean, there's a lot of things I got to look at, a lot of details. Those are my earth days. The air days is like, I might do a part of a chart, right? If I'm doing somebody's chart for them. I could have the conversation with them this day because I've already done the research. I've already reviewed their chart. So I could do it on the air day. Air day would be a great day to do it. On the water days, I'm looking at, I like to do personally, like if I can schedule somebody on a water day to do like some type of deep like subconscious work, hypnosis, any of that type of stuff, I'm gonna do it on the water days. Those would be my ideal days to do it. They're in the energy for it, and I'm in the energy for it. But there's some water days that aren't good for me, right? Again, that's when we start looking at personal astrology and like, how is this personally affecting me? For some of my clients, I tell them, take these days off. If I know they're a water sign, like their predominant element on their chart is water, I'm going to tell them, take these days off. Don't work. If you cannot work these days, don't work these days. Like you've got Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but don't work Tuesday through Thursday. Like don't do it. Because I know that they're going to be more emotional those days. It's going to be harder for them, right? Take the time off, or take it easy. Like don't demand a lot of yourself on the days. But it goes back to what your personal chart is and what's predominant there, right? Great question. All right, before we wrap up, anything else that you guys have any questions about? You guys are like, okay, like I'm gonna process all this now, right? Is that the energy you guys are in? All right, let me take all this in and process it and see how I can do this. So what I'm going to do is, I think almost all of you I have on Instagram, but if not, I will send you something separate if we need to. But what I'll do is I'm going to notify you guys on Instagram. So look on your Instagram of when we're changing from sign to sign, and just a nice little reminder of what would be good to do that day as you work towards whatever it is that you're doing. So it'll be in because you know how you can create groups on Instagram. So I'm gonna create a little group with you guys. I'll send it out, and I'll go just out to you guys, whoever was in this class today, or whoever registered for this class today. It'll go out to you guys, and it'll be that little reminder just to kind of help you guys walk through it, since this is kind of like the first month going through it, right? I know when I did it, it was like, okay, what sign are we in? What is this going on? Like, it was all this. I didn't have this beautiful chart, so I had to like look on all my apps and figure this out. And so I was like, okay, let me help you guys this month and like walk you through it so you guys can see, right? But I'm gonna recommend, pay attention if you're not already doing it. Journal or write down, document somewhere how energy was that day. And you'll start to see, like, you know what, maybe fire days are best for this, right? You know, maybe earth days are best to do this type of work, right? Or air days this, whatever it might be. If you know what your predominant sign is on your natal chart, might feel into how that works for you, right? Am I too emotional on these days, or am I like too like you know how like us, you know, water people, how we like to you know, a little passionate maybe, right? Maybe we're being really passionate those days, right? And so we need to stay clear of certain people, or not let ourselves get triggered those days, right? Maybe we could be a little bit more mindful of that, right? Or maybe when you do get triggered, like, okay, what was this? was this a fire day? And I just I'm not gonna take this today. Like, what was it? What was the energy? And you guys will start to see like what works and what doesn't work for you, right? Because we're all different, right? Everybody has a predominant element that they are mostly made up of. Their energy is mostly made up of. And so you're going to feel better when you're in that element, right? There's also, like, we can look at what days, right, are your power days. What days are like, man, these are your best days because it's in your element, it's in your moon cycle. Like, there's all these different things that we can look at to be like, these are good days to do this, right? If you're somebody that does events, like, this is a good day to do an event, right? This is a good day to put yourself out there, right? To be like spotlighted in your community, right? There's different things that we can look at within your personal charts to say like, okay, these are some things that you'd want to do. After we get into more personal astrology, right? All right. Any last final questions before we say goodbye? So I will be sending the email with the replay so you guys can watch this again if you need to as a reference. I'll be sending, it will also have a link to download this chart or this calendar. And then I will add you guys to a group on Instagram with our updates. So where we are, where we change signs, and some reminders of what to do, and some extra support over this weekend, because I know it'll probably be, our mindsets are gonna wanna challenge us a bit, right? If you'd like to share your personal intention with me, feel free. You can send it to me privately if you want, or you're very welcome, Natalie. Yeah, I did my best to make it easy because I know it can be a lot. I think let me clear that for you and let me stop sharing because I want to see you guys one last time before we end. But thank you, ladies, so much. It got dark in here. I didn't realize. I was so focused on you guys. Thank you guys so much for coming today. I hope this was super helpful in helping you plan out your next lunar cycle, your next month. I hope you guys got some ideas, got some clarity. Remember, take the next 24 to 48 hours to really think, really feel into what it is that you guys want to do during this next lunar cycle. Look at that intention you wrote down. Look at the notes you did for the visualization, because you connected your conscious and subconscious there, right? We looked at both there. So it's a good activity for the mind. And then start looking at what you can do. All right, ladies, thank you so much. Have a fantastic rest of your evening, a fantastic week, and I will see you guys on Instagram and all the good places. All right, bye.